Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now October 1st of 2023, and given that Disney is going through a very difficult time right now, I think that we can all safely agree here that 2023 has been by far the worst year for Disney, period, the end. And it's not just about the box office failures, it's about the Disney stock hitting a very big low. As well as, let's not forget about many merchandise not selling for Star Wars and other major brands out there that are really just not working for Disney right now. And let's not forget about it as well as the closing of the Galactic Star Cruiser Hotel, which, by the way, just happened yesterday. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. And one major film that Disney is anticipating right now, and not in a good way, is Snow White, the live-action remake. Now, we know that this movie has a lot going for it when it comes to Disney in a negative matter. We know that they are very much in a phase of damage control and panic over this movie. And we also know that this movie has a lot of funds that went into it, roughly $310 million as far as the budget goes alone. And we have a lot more to talk about the financial end of things happening with Snow White right now and why it's looking very disastrous. Now, the thing about Snow White is that Disney was banking on this movie. They were really trying to set up a Snow White cinematic universe. We talked about this many times throughout the past couple of months of how they were creating a 4-movie setup for director Mark Webb and writer Greta Gerwig to actually take on and create 2 prequel movies as well as 1 sequel film. Now, beyond that, alright, with Snow White going through much damage control by Disney, one major development has to do with the financial end of the spectrum for Snow White, as, of course, this falls into chaos for Disney. One crucial update surrounding the current status of Snow White is that Disney reportedly invested $100 million plus into the marketing of Snow White, and that Disney is now in the process of cutting back on the marketing to promote the film less in order to control the backlash. The film itself, for starters, held a budget of $310 million, to be exact, with marketing costs not included in the budget at Disney, and how they were placing all bets on this film to become the next big thing and the start of a Snow White cinematic universe. To make matters worse, Disney is already canceling and deleting footage from the current edit of the film of scenes that were described to be extremely expensive to shoot. This involved scenes with pyrotechnics, intense training with stunt men and women, as well as high production value sets that were built from both wood and foam that have gone to a complete waste that took months to build. Now, the thing about this too that is all the more troublesome for Disney is the fact that they are also deleting scenes that cost them a lot of money, so to speak. Scenes that director Mark Webb and writer Greta Gerwig really poured a lot of their energy into that are now getting pretty much cut out of the movie and are to never see the light of day. So, for those of you that have not been informed, we talked about this last week, is that Disney wanted to make this the first Disney live-action remake that would be close to 3 whole hours long. And I kept saying to myself, who in their right mind, what family is going to bring their children or kids to a near 3-hour movie that's especially a Disney movie? You got me, guys. I have no idea what they were thinking about this. This may have been an idea that was done during the Chapek era, in which it most likely was, but now that they are actually dialing back on scenes, trying to shave down the running time, rearranging scenes as well to improve the flow of the story, I don't know about you guys, but I've said this many times, openly and vividly, that there is nothing that you can do to save this film. As long as you got ZEGLER as Snow White, as long as you got the 7 magical creatures in there, and as long as this movie diverts from the source material and just completely alienates it, this film is not going to work well at all in the least. So, the combination of dialing back on the marketing costs of $110 million plus, give or take, $100 million plus, reaching up to $110, and not getting the movie out there as much as it should, given that it really is not working itself out in the masses, of course. A lot of people are just turned off by this movie prematurely. That's not working for themselves either. And the fact that they are deleting and canceling scenes that were extremely expensive to shoot. Like I said before, this included pyrotechnics, which really involved a lot of training between the stuntmen and the stuntwomen. A lot of this had to do with a castle structure that was built as well, that was completely just put to the wayside. But it goes beyond that. Let's discuss further. Now, Disney also reportedly was upset, of course, about what they actually had to pursue, and they also upset the set designer of Snow White, since much of that work is now in the trash, and Disney took a big loss on this film by spending so much of their funds, only to cancel out many scenes in an attempt to reduce the running time of the film. Scenes that were pushed to be made by Mark Webb and Greta Gerwig, the writer and director of the film, were to blame as well, as they insisted Disney higher-ups that certain sets needed to be built for a specific margin of production value to make it work on film for the audience. Disney reportedly threw away millions related to a combination of set builds, post-production CG sequences that were done as well in post for the scenes, and a whole lot more related to these cancelled scenes that was around 40 minutes of footage just thrown away by Disney, and quite possibly even more than that, with reduced marketing for the film to top things off. The movie is set to not get as much exposure to begin with, which is of course ensuring its failure at the box office from the controversy. Now guys, I don't know if you knew this, but this is a very similar scenario to what happened with Indiana Jones 5, The Dial of Destiny. Kathleen Kennedy requested extra funding for the film, extra scenes, and, well, she just threw a lot of those scenes in the trash as a producer. And that's where Disney really lost a lot of their money on The Dial of Destiny. That's why it was $300 million plus when it came to the budget, not including the marketing, by the way. And that really is a telltale that this is going to top the failure of Indiana Jones 5. It's going to make Indy 5 look like a beautiful story, right? A happy ending. Snow White is going to definitely be the worst Disney movie of all time, in my opinion, financially and story-driven wise, as well as how fans will actually give the feedback to Disney. It's going to work full circle in a negative matter. You know, financially speaking, it's going to be a horror for Disney. It's not going to work in the marketing realm. It's not going to work in the sense of word of mouth on a positive scale. That's just not going to happen. All of this is going to lead to Disney really losing hundreds of millions of dollars, and it's going to also create a ripple effect, domino effect, if you will, on their Disney parks. You know, a lot of people, common moviegoers, are going to begin to wake up that Disney is not all about their customers. It's all about just forcing an agenda and really sticking to that side of the story. So anyway, guys, drop a comment below. Fill me in below in the comments what you all have to say about this. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.
Night to moon.